Everyone your age seems ahead of you. They're not. But your brain is lying to you on purpose, and it has been doing it for a very long time. Right now, someone you know is buying a house. Someone is getting promoted. Someone is getting married, starting a company, posting a photo from a country you can't afford to visit. And you are sitting exactly where you are, quietly doing the math on your own life. And the math keeps coming out wrong. You feel behind. Here's the strange part. That feeling has almost nothing to do with where you actually are. Think about what behind even means. Behind means there is a track. A single line everyone is running along in the same direction at the same time toward the same place. Behind means there is a correct position on that track, and you are standing at the wrong one. But look up from the feeling for a second. Where is this track? Who drew it? Who decided that a house at 30 and a title by 35 is the line, and that being anywhere else means you're losing? Nobody did. There is no track. You have been running a race that does not exist, against runners who are not there, toward a finish line nobody ever set. And yet, the feeling is so real it can wake you up at night. So let's find out where it actually comes from. Because once you see the machine that makes it, you can't quite believe it as much anymore. Your brain has one very old job: keep you safe inside the group. For almost all of human history, you lived in a small tribe, maybe 100 people, and your entire survival depended on your rank inside that group. If you fell too far behind the others, you lost protection. You lost food. You lost mates. So your mind grew a permanent background habit. It measures you against everyone around you, constantly, whether you want it to or not. That habit kept your ancestors alive. And it is still running right now, in the exact same way, except the group is no longer 100 people you actually know. The group is now everyone. Every person you have ever met. Every stranger on a screen. Every filtered, edited, best possible version of 10,000 lives, all delivered to you at once, in a feed designed to never end. Your ancient ranking system was built for a village. You handed it the entire planet. Of course it panics. Of course you feel behind. You are comparing yourself to the combined highlights of millions of people and calling the result my life. Let's talk about that word. Highlights. When you scroll, what do you actually see? You see the wedding, not the 2 years of doubt before it. You see the new apartment, not the debt holding it up. You see the promotion post, not the crying in the car. You see the finished, framed, chosen moment. The single second someone decided was worth showing. You are watching everyone else's best takes. And you are comparing them to your own bloopers. Every hesitation, every boring Tuesday, every quiet fear you have never posted about. Because who posts about that? This is the trick, and it is almost perfect. You compare your inside to everyone else's outside. You know every messy detail of your own story, and you know only the trailer of theirs. So who could ever win that comparison? Not you. Not anyone. Now here's where it gets stranger. Ready? The people you feel behind, they feel behind too. The friend with the house is looking at the friend with 2 houses. The one who got promoted is watching someone younger get promoted faster. The person posting from that beautiful country is exhausted, scrolling in a hotel room, feeling behind someone else. Everyone is looking up. Everyone has picked a person slightly ahead of them and quietly decided that person is the standard. There is no top of the ladder where the feeling stops. There is just the ladder, and everyone on it, all looking in the same direction, all feeling the same small ache. Behind is not a place. It is a direction your attention points, and you can point it anywhere. Let's make this real. Imagine 2 people, same age, same job, same salary, same apartment, truly identical lives. One of them spends the evening scrolling, watching people who are further along. She goes to sleep feeling like a failure. The other spends the evening remembering where he was 5 years ago, how far he has actually come. He goes to sleep feeling proud. Nothing about their lives is different. The only thing that changed is the direction they were looking. One looked up the ladder, one looked back down it. Same life. 2 completely different nights. You have been told that the feeling of being behind is information, that it's your gut telling you the truth about your progress. It isn't. It is not a measurement. It is a mood produced by an old survival system that was never designed for the world you're living in. And there is one more thing that system cannot see. Time. You never see anyone else's timeline. You see them at a single frozen moment, the moment they're winning, and your brain assumes that's the whole story. You don't see the years they struggled before it. You don't see how many times they started over. You don't see the head start some of them had, or the luck, or the quiet help. You are comparing your chapter 4 to someone else's chapter 20, and then you're confused about why they seem so far ahead. They're not ahead. They're just further into a completely different book. So what do you do with all this? Because knowing the feeling is a trick doesn't make it disappear. You'll still open your phone tomorrow. You'll still feel the pull. Here's the shift. You don't have to win the comparison. You have to notice you're in one. That's it. That's the whole move. The feeling of being behind runs on autopilot in the dark, pretending to be the truth. The moment you catch it, the moment you think, oh, there it is, the machine is running again, it loses almost all of its power. You can't be fully fooled by a trick you can see happening. So next time it hits, name it. Say it plainly. I am comparing my inside to someone's outside. I am comparing my chapter to their chapter 20. I am pointing my attention up the ladder. You don't argue with the feeling. You just see it for what it is. A very old alarm going off in a world it was never built for. And then ask a different question. Not, am I ahead of them? But, am I ahead of who I was? That is the only comparison that was ever real. The only other runner who was ever actually on your track is the version of you from a year ago. And you have almost certainly left that person behind, in the best possible way, without even noticing. Because that's the last cruel joke of this whole thing. While you were busy feeling behind, you were moving the entire time. You learned things, you survived things. You grew in ways that don't photograph well and never make it to a feed. Real progress is quiet. It doesn't announce itself, it just accumulates slowly in the background while your attention is pointed at everyone else. You are not behind. You are just looking in the wrong direction to see how far you've come. Everyone your age seems ahead of you. They're not. There is no ahead. There is no track, no schedule, no finish line, and no other runners. There is only your life, moving at exactly the speed it was always going to move, whether you panic about it or not. The feeling will come back. It always does. But now you know its name, and a loop you can see is a loop you can finally step out of. Catch the signal. Break the loop.